talking to a lot of these teens,
Hmm.
and what is it, 66% I was saw that were single parent households in Hammond.
Hmm.
How does that play into this?
I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on numbers because that, for me, that's not my focus. My focus is just to reach out to these kids and let them know that someone is listening and someone is going to try and give them the information. I myself, until I became a teenager, came from a single parent home. And, I don't like the stereotype that sometimes, well, you get less as far as information or time with your parent because that's not always the case. In some circumstances where individuals, I mean students, have come to me and said, well, my mom is the only one that takes care of me, but she tells me and she makes sure that I know. Again, as he mentioned, this is a time of the information age. Kids can go on the web and find anything that they want to know on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the reasons why we've stepped up our program and made our own YouTube channel and have our own Facebook page so that they can also contact us if they wanted to.
Now, going back to the single parent family in Hammond and a lot of it, and I
Mhm.
understand. I mean, I met Alexis. She was a single parent and
Mhm.
doing a great job. And I guess the point perhaps Dave was getting at
And I'm
is
not
that
knocking what
sometimes,
he was saying. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
say
In other words,
sometimes they get a bad rap.
statistically,
Mhm.
it's proven out that in the single parent families there are less understanding sometimes of the male female
Mhm.
relationships, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, in these situations, I just wonder in the kids that
Mhm.
you're talking about is what are they getting out of the home,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that's where some of these problems start in terms of the
But
seeing it generation after generation.
but Jim, it's not just in single parent households, though I will say I was widowed when my daughter was 13, so I had to finish raising her and getting her off to college. So, and she was at a very vulnerable age when her dad died. But Elena, you'll remember this. Elena and I went to a rape certification program about 9 years ago out in Valparaiso. We had a number of young women in their early 20s. I don't know, I know you made up a day there, Elena, but I listened to young women in their early 20s talk, calling each other bees. And you know what I mean when I use the word, the initial B.
Thanks for
These,
not using the
I
entire
know, I'm
word,
trying
by
to
the way.
I want you to
Okay.
remain licensed.
All right. Thank you.
These are well-educated bachelor and master degreed women who are very well, very well schooled, not only in terms of education but careers. And I thought, I can't be because I'm a senior citizen that I find this offensive. I thought, oh, if this was my daughter talking like this. But what stunned me was the acceptance among each other. And we're dealing with rape crisis. And I'm listening to this dialogue. And they looked at me like well, this is why Elena's out there and not me. Elena is much younger, so she has a way to reach out to people than Grandma here. But it's it's not just in families, in the urban area. And these were high income communities these women were coming from. So it's across the board. It isn't just in the urban area. I think sometimes we're so close to this, it seems like it, but I had a rude awakening that day, and it doesn't take a lot to shock me.
Let's see what Denise has to say on line 6. Hi, Denise.
Yes, hi. I'm a regular caller, and these people just calling in with the free lunch program the man talking about with the kids violence. It's not the free lunch program. The tax people is paying for that, so
Hmm.
there's nothing free. And the reason why the kids is lost violence around because it takes the two parents, mother and the father, to be involved in the kid's life.
Let's first of all on the free and reduced lunch. I don't think anybody's. I think they're just using that to show that there's some real hard times here going on in Hammond. All right, but the second part, there are a lot of single parent households, and do you feel that that factors into some of the stuff that's going on here in Hammond?
No, with the whether it's single parent or whether you married, you got to be involved in the kid's life. You can't turn your eye and talk about you have to work. No, it's because you got to be involved in your kid's life.
Hmm.
If you don't, the kids, the game's gonna take the kids away.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Denise.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so Elena, you're going into the high schools
Yes.
and you're talking about violence in relationships.
Yes.
And one of those relationships is dating relationships.
Yes.
So when you start talking to young girls about dating and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, what's a couple of the things that come up?
Um, I get laughed at sometimes. Because they say, really, you want me to talk to somebody like that? That's so old-fashioned. Just showing respect towards one another. But when I turn the tables on them and use some of the statements that I hear coming from their own hallways, you be, you, I don't know if I can say that on loud.
You know what? If you're not sure if you can
Uh-huh.
say it, then don't say it. All right? Put it that way.
Just the name calling, the put downs, you know, slapping each other because we think it's cute. Well, why isn't that cute, Mrs. Ruiz? Because would you really want somebody to slap you and then laugh about it?
Hmm.
Really? That's how you want to be treated?
So what are some of the situations that you're seeing in these schools? I mean, does it go as far as sexual assault and rape in some cases, or is it simple
Not to my
battery or
knowledge.
what?
Mostly battery. I wouldn't say call it simple, but mostly a lot of
And you know what?
battery.
I think that's a legal term they use.
Right.
My
Yeah.
wife's always saying
It
simple
just
battery, so I don't know
right.
what that means.
You know, it's another one of those terms
Yeah,
that just rubs me the wrong
yeah,
way.
okay.
But a lot of battery, but not so much the sexual abuse, not so much of the rape, but a lot of sexual harassment. B, why don't you suck my
Okay.
hallways? I mean, I can't put it any plainer than that.
And that goes on. All right.
It does. For us to say that it doesn't or to ignore it is not helping. Um, I even do this with parents. I do this talk about
Hmm.
how do you talk to your teen about dating violence? And I go into the fact that maybe we should start talking to them sooner than they become teenagers. Would you wait until they're a teenager to talk to them about drugs? Would you wait till they're a teenager to talk to them about gangs? I'm not saying give them everything at the age of 5, but I'm saying give it in spurts. Start early.